We're delighted to be joined now by Treaty United manager Tommy Barrett. Tommy, obviously you have Wexford FC tomorrow night at the Markets Field, but before we go into that, great result as we discussed last Sunday. What's the mood been like in the camp in the previous 4 days now before the game tomorrow?
Look, it's upbeat, I suppose, but we have been upbeat all along anyway, and we're trying to keep that positive energy that we're getting going, and we're trying to keep it as positive as possible anyway. So, the lads are training well. They're a good group of lads that always train well anyway, and we'll have that bit of crack as well. It's important, and within training, and obviously we'll have a game plan for Wexford, and we'll try to stick to that and implement that too.
Yeah, it's the first competitive home game at the Markets Field of the season, Tommy. I'm sure everyone at Treaty is obviously delighted to be at the Markets Field, and you'll be hoping as well that the pitch quality and everything can return to its former days as well, which would be a help to you.
Yeah, the pitch was looking grand the last time. It was in good condition, so I can't no complaints with the pitch. I think it helped with COVID. There was no rugby or anything on it this year, so it was probably a lot easier to maintain in that. We're looking forward to getting our first home game for sure.
Yeah, when we were discussing it on the podcast this week, there was obviously, saying that obviously it's great for them to be in the Markets Field, but obviously the away team will also be, happy to come with the surroundings and the likes, Tommy. But you'll obviously be hoping that once that whistle goes, that you can kind of make it a fortress, and obviously the away team will be in for a tough game.
We try to make every game tough. I suppose that's all we can do. We're definitely the underdogs going into every game, and we have to be at our top performance week in, week out. There's no doubt in that. If you look at as we spoke about last week, you look at all the other teams have signed professional players and got professional players on loan, like even Wexford have the likes of lads on Turner on loan from Aberdeen and the likes of that. It's that's something we don't have the luxury of having. We're getting our players from junior clubs and unattached senior players, which we're happy with. But we look to. We're not taking any game for granted, and hopefully a lot of teams will take us for granted, but we have to be at our maximum in every game to get any result, whether it be a draw or a win.
Yeah, watching the Wexford game against Cabinteely last week, Tommy, Cabinteely obviously came away with the victory. They had three centre-backs, Wexford, playing their team. It seemed like a quite ambitious formation attacking-wise, really. It almost seemed like it merged into a 3-4-3 a lot of the time, with Paul Fox playing very high as well. Would you expect them to show the same ambition tomorrow night?
Yeah, they have been playing like that in the pre-season. They were back, I think, around January. They had a lot of pre-season friendlies. I think they had 7 or 8 pre-season friendlies. We managed to get a video of one, and we obviously watched the Cabinteely match tonight. But I agree with you, it was very ambitious, and they looked lively on the attack. The two lads up top, and as you mentioned, Paul Fox as well, were very lively when they got on it. And to be fair, they probably should have got something out of that game, and particularly in the second half. They conceded from 2 set pieces, so they probably count themselves a bit unlucky. And we definitely have to be wary of their threats, because they have a lot of threats, and they're a big side as well, and they're a fit side. They're full of energy. And I suppose that's a concern for us as well, that we're still not up to sharpness as a lot of them other teams.
Yeah, considering Luke Turner scored the Wexford goal from a set piece, Tommy, it was probably surprising to see how poorly they defended set pieces down the other end. I know Cabinteely probably could have scored another 2 or 3 goals from set pieces from what I've seen. It seems like a fairly obvious thing to say, because set pieces are very important, but you showed a couple of times you got almost on the end of a few last week in Bray. That's obviously been an area you'd be targeting, I'd say, and tomorrow night.
They're important in every game and in every match. We're a big enough side, and we had the long throw as well with Mark Ludden, and I think it's a threat. It can be like a corner, particularly up in the likes of Bray, because it's a smaller, it's a narrower pitch, it's a wider pitch. It'd be a bit more difficult in Markets Field, all right. But we're not a massive team. We've no one that's really huge like Cabinteely. A few lads probably they're 6'3" or 4. We have lads that are probably 6 foot and 6'1". That's kind of our team. is 6'1" or 6 foot to 6'2" probably, and very few under that. You know, we have a few lads under it, but not many. We're kind of a 6 foot team, which is good. You know, we're an athletic team, and we look to set pieces. Of course we will, but we have to be very wary as well, because, you know, there's a lot of teams in the division that can hurt you with set pieces. So I was happy enough the way we defended them last week too, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously it might be a different type of game, Tommy. People will think for tomorrow night, because, you know, going to Bray, you're obviously set your stall out, very solid defensively. It was very hard to show anything in an attacking sense, because, you know, because of the quality of opposition you're coming against. Obviously, you know, Wexford will have quality, like we mentioned, but, you know, you'll obviously be hoping at home, which comes with the territory, that you'll obviously show a bit more in attack, which will be more difficult as well now with the absence of Sean McSweeney, who would have been a big player for this game. That's probably disappointing.
Yeah, and it is difficult, you know, as we said, with our fitness levels as well. We should be trying to get on the ball more, and possibly, you know, last week we could have got on it a bit more, but, you know, it was difficult. And Sean is a big loss, of course he is, but, you know, we have another few lads as well that, you know, we're waiting on, and the injuries are catching up now on us, and the suspension doesn't help. So look, we have to keep the ball a bit better, and we have to move it better, and we have to attack a bit better. But we also have to be conscious that we're up against a good side, and they've some very good attackers. So, you know, we have to be very careful that we don't get opened up easily as well, you know. Yeah,
speaking of injuries and suspensions, Tommy, you obviously have Clyde O'Connell back from suspension this week. Is there any update maybe on the injuries too? Like you said, if you were to an attacking sense, you know, your likes of your Joel Coustrains and Dean George, who would add a lot to you in that respect.
Look, you've Conor Melody in there as well, you know, and Joe Collins. Like, Joe is a midfielder, but he's very much an attack-minded midfielder as well. So they're big losses. Adam Foley as well, you know. So Dean George is going to be out for as we said last week, it was 5 to 6 weeks, so we won't see him for a while. Conor Melody should be back in 2 weeks maybe. He won't make this week. He might make the following week, possibly. Joel is touch and go. Probably he's unlikely to start, but we might have him for the bench, you know. Ty Ryan, you know, is a big doubt. Is a big doubt. And then Aaron Fitz is out. He's out for 4 or 5 weeks. He's similar injury to Conor Melody. Adam Foley's a bit off yet. He's a couple of weeks, and Joe Collins is probably 3 to 4 weeks off. So we still have a lot of injuries and injuries to players that are, you know, experienced players, and that's Charlie Fleming actually is a major doubt. So, you know, we have to move a lot around, you know. Charlie, from last week, like, we're already looking to be missing, probably, as we said, we're missing Sean McSweeney, and we're more than likely going to miss Charlie and Tyg. So they're big losses for sure. Preview.